Do you ever look at your earbuds case and think, what do you even do? Charge? You don't even go here. Probably not. Most people don't think about their earbud case much at all. But with the Jabra Elite 10 Gen 2, Jabra has given us a reason to. Hi, I'm Justin from Rtings.com, and today we're reviewing the Jabra Elite 10 Gen 2, the top-of-the-line successor to the Jabra Elite 10 earbuds. There are some cosmetic upgrades, but the most notable is on the inside of the smart case. This little guy lets you plug into most analog and digital sources while still listening wirelessly. So, does this case build a case for getting these earbuds? Or is it simply another smartly marketed gimmick? Jabra has a pretty tried and true design formula. Apparently, it's based on thousands of scans of ears, so the shape of each earbud is round and unassuming. The buds have a slightly soft silicone exterior, which gives them a somewhat matte finish, but there is a contrasting shiny button on each bud. Besides the 5 new colors and a new button on the charging case, you can easily confuse them with the previous flagship, or several other models in the lineup for that matter. The earbuds come with 4 ear tips designed to match the unique shape of the driver and better fit the ear canal. On some folks, this oblong shape will feel more ergonomic than the standard circular ear tips, but the oblong shape can feel a bit too big if you have smaller ear canals. Their fit lands in between open-fitting Apple AirPods designs and the considerably deeper fit of the Sony WF-1000 XM5. As a result, you're less likely to experience the uncomfortable cabin pressure sensation that's caused by active noise canceling, if you're sensitive to that. Like the rest of the package, the ear tips, buds, and case are well built. The buds snap into place within the case, and you can smoothly flick the lid with one hand. The earbuds have an IP57 rating against dust and water, meaning you can take them on the trail with you on a rainy day. And because they're impressively stable, despite the lack of stabilizers, you can run on that wet trail and expect the earbuds to stay in. This is thanks to their silicone textured housing and contoured fit. Let's talk about controls. With these buds, you'll never have to guess if a command has actually registered, thanks to their shallow buttons and tactile feedback. While buttons can sometimes press buds into your ears a bit, these aren't too bad since the buttons aren't stiff. The earbuds emit distinct sounds when entering commands, and a voice lets you know when you're in pairing mode and when you've connected. Virtually all the controls you want are available on these earbuds, with the added benefit of a lot of customization through the companion app. The Jabra Sound Plus app basically unlocks the full functionality of the earbuds, so you can remap them to your liking. By default, the controls cover playback such as pause and play, track skipping, and volume adjustments. You can cycle through ANC and hear through, aka transparency modes, as well. And because this is the same company that makes headsets en masse everywhere, the Elite 10 Gen 2 also have dedicated call-centric controls. We'll get to how great the app's EQ is in a second. First, let's look at the default sound profile. It's somewhat flat, though it does lean towards a brighter sound because of a big peak in the mid-treble. This makes higher frequencies sound piercing and shrill. You can play around with the custom EQ if it's causing premature fatigue. But that aside, these convey a good amount of rumble and punch in the bass, though they aren't exactly bassy earbuds by default. Lead instruments and vocals sound accurate in the mid-range despite being punched down slightly in the mix. Besides the trebly peak, the frequency response provides an even vocal articulation and presence. If you want a different sound, the EQ presets give you some flexibility if you don't want to mess with the EQ too much. Or if that peak in the mid-treble is too bright, you can use the graphic equalizer to decrease it or add more bass, whatever your ears desire. The frequency response consistency of these earbuds is great. They'll sound basically the same between wears and on different people, so long as you choose the correct ear tip size. Despite the moniker of semi-open, these aren't spacious, open, and immersive sounding. The semi-open design mainly concerns the small vent on each bud that relieves in-ear pressure rather than meaningfully impacting their passive soundstage. As a result, your audio sounds closed off and like it's coming from inside your head, which is normal for most earbuds and in-ears. The Elite 10 Gen 2 are Bluetooth 5.3 equipped, and multi-device pairing lets you connect up to 2 devices simultaneously. They use standard AAC and SBC codecs, and they have quick pair for Android devices. The latency is fairly high, and they don't have a low latency mode, although different apps do compensate for latency differently. You've heard of smart TVs, smart cars, and smart fridges, but get ready for a smart case. Jabra designed this new case to turn into a Bluetooth transmitter compatible with the LE audio codec for low latency. Using the USB-C port on the case, you can plug into devices and connect to devices that wireless earbuds can't normally connect to. That includes everything from vinyl records to airline entertainment systems and even console controllers. Nearly anything with a headphone jack or a USB-C port. Though it can sometimes be clumsy having a case dangle from whatever device you're using. The LE audio codec transmits the wired audio at a lower latency than their standard Bluetooth connection, but it's still high enough that you may notice a bit of lag. Of course, this is only a possible issue if you're watching videos, as latency varies with different devices. Connecting the smart case to USB-C sources like your phone or PC seems to work a bit more reliably than the analog sources in our testing. This isn't a problem with the feature, but the cable's analog adapter. It's unreliable. For a more reliable connection, you can get a third-party 1/8 of an inch TRS to USB-C cable. Unfortunately, the smart case disables the microphone, and the latency isn't ideal for fast-paced games. So, if you were thinking these earbuds double as your gaming buds, unfortunately, they're not a substitute for a dedicated headset. Though Jabra is known for their call-centric products, the Elite 10 Gen 2 have an alright sounding microphone system. It's pretty bright on sibilants like S sounds, but otherwise, it's flat in the mids where most speech resides. So your voice will sound a bit thin and sharp, but not too bad. Callers will certainly hear you and understand your words without distortion. The mic system performs very well when it comes to rejecting external noise too. It takes a few seconds for the noise filter to kick in, but once it's running, it cuts out sporadic and background noise well. Your words remain intelligible, but at the cost of perfect clarity. Jabra hasn't cut any corners on the active noise canceling on this flagship. The ANC tackles deep rumbling sounds like construction and bus engines well. Ambient din on flights is tamped down too. Frequencies in the mid-range aren't as reduced as much as highs, so you'll still notice nearby chit-chat. For comparison, they don't isolate quite as much trebly noise as the Sony WF-1000 XM5 truly wireless with their deep in-ear fit and highly isolating memory foam ear tips. However, the Elite Gen 2 tend to feel more comfortable to wear for extended periods of time. They also do a bang-up job with reducing low and mid-range noises. And while they're not as isolating in the treble region as the Sony, they still block out a lot of bright sounds like clinking cups in cafes. They also have a wind reduction mode to help mitigate the annoying popping sound produced by air hitting the mics. Now, onto the app. The Jabra Sound Plus app is key to so many of the earbuds functions. We already discussed the EQ a bit, but you get a choice between presets or making your own. The custom EQ gives you 5 frequency bands to modify the sound, and you can save them. You also get the spatial surround feature in the app, and it includes head tracking for greater immersion. It's compatible with Dolby Atmos mastered audio. You can also apply the digital signal processor, which stimulates a surround sound mix to any audio format. This is the most fully featured spatial audio implementation Jabra has on any of its models. Otherwise, all your needs are covered. Find My Jabra, Spotify Tap, and Voice Assistant. You can even listen to ambient soundscapes if you're having a tough day. On the whole, the app support is pretty complete except for lacking a dedicated low latency mode. Moving on to the battery. In standard Bluetooth mode with ANC enabled, these last 7 hours continuously in our tests. The case holds an extra 3 charges for a total of 28 hours of playback. So you can get through most flights, but not necessarily a globe-trotting jaunt without a recharge in the case. In addition, the case can wirelessly charge. Besides that, Jabra includes an audio off battery feature, which you can configure in the app. And the earbuds can also stay in a battery conserving mode for a whopping 345 days. So, should you buy these earbuds? Well, before you run out and buy them, keep in mind that Jabra's parent company, GN, has announced that these, alongside the Jabra Elite 8 Active, are their swan song in the true wireless earbud space. With headphones that don't rely on apps, this would be a sad story, but not a problem. For the Elite 10 Gen 2, it leaves a question mark. We don't know how long the Jabra Sound Plus app is going to receive updates. Besides the unknown fate of Sound Plus, what we do know is that these are comfortable, stable earbuds that are well built with dust and water resistance. The controls are easy to use and remappable, and they have a ton of settings like EQ and spatial sound. The smart case is nice to have for expanding their connectivity too. The onboard ANC is really one of their strengths, with enough battery life for most activities, even if you can't get through an entire workday without a re-up. If you're fine with sacrificing some features like Dolby Atmos compatibility and a unique ear tip shape, the Jabra Elite 8 Active Gen 2 True Wireless are hardly a compromise, despite sitting below the Elite 10 in Jabra's lineup. These are kitted out with a grippy exterior and a similar ergonomic shape, so they'll stay put, and their IP68 rating is reassuring against dust and water. They sound similar to the Elite 10 Gen 2, and their ANC is very comparable, arguably better depending on the fit. The Elite 8 Active Gen 2 also have slightly longer battery life, and the smart case has all the same capabilities as the flagship. The downside is the same downside as the Elite 10 Gen 2. We don't know how long the app is going to receive updates and support. If you can't swing the cost of the Jabra Elite 10 Gen 2, consider the more wallet-friendly Anker Soundcore Space A40 truly wireless. At under $100, they offer fantastic ANC and a pretty comprehensive app with EQ to adjust the fairly flat sound profile. As far as we know, the app is still receiving updates. Plus, they have a lower latency gaming mode. Their battery outlasts the Jabras too. The downside is that the mic is pretty poor, so it's not a good choice for calls. Also, their IPX4 rating is less robust alongside with a cheaper feeling construction. However, for music and streaming videos in silence, they're a good choice. It's tough competition out there. Jabra alone has a lot of true wireless earbuds worth considering, including the first generation Jabra Elite 10 True Wireless if you don't need the smart case that comes with the Gen 2. To learn more about any of the products mentioned in the video and read the full review, head over to our website. The link is in the description below. Until next time, I'm Justin from Rtings.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think about the Jabra Elite 10 Gen 2. The earbuds have an IP57 rating against... Flick the... Okay. You can... I'm just gonna vibrate every time I mess up.